I have now done 5 house flips, but today I just closed on my first wholesale deal. And the craziest part is I didn't even have to do anything. And I'm gonna run through exactly how we just wholesaled a deal in literally about 3 days for $20,000. I will give you the entire conversation. I will show you the lead. I will show you the process. And I'm going to explain kind of my little super team that I made. All of this so that you could actually wholesale a deal today, this week, this month. And I think that you guys are really going to enjoy this because this will be a behind the scenes of how this entire thing played out. And literally you can just take this exact method and copy it. So my name is Jackson Wilkie. I built the ground up house flipping channel to document my house flipping process. There's nothing like this out there. For over 2 to 3 years, I watched every single YouTube video, podcast. I spent 5 figures on courses and I was stuck in the mud. So one day I decided, hey, I'm just gonna go out and figure this stuff out. And for you guys, the good news is, I just got a message from my cold caller. You're gonna hear him, how he actually talks to clients and gets the best deals. But if you are interested in how to do this, just subscribe to this channel. I also have some amazing things coming up, all free tools for you guys to house flip, to wholesale. There's nothing like this out there. You're never gonna have to spend a dime, but make sure if this is the kind of thing that you're looking to get into, that you subscribe so that you get all of the most updated strategies and what I got coming for you. So there's nothing better, guys, than seeing this message right here. Just got the non-refundable down payment for the property. This baby is sold. LFG. We all know what that means. Here's my favorite part too. Y'all know, y'all my OGs out there, you know Money Mike. He finds me the best deals. Well, he's in on this too. He said nothing like selling a deal by the pool. He was out having a little bit of fun. But what I need to do is actually run you through this entire process so that you guys have an understanding of how I did it. There's a million ways to skin this cat, but this is a pretty interesting strategy and actually something that I'm going to kind of go all in on here in the future. I'm still looking for kind of my dream flip, but after doing an entire year of flipping, a lot of people comment about, what I've been doing, and I've pulled back a little bit. One, I got 3 kids all under the age of 13. We have been traveling everywhere this summer for sports. I'm just super busy right now with a lot of that. Secondly, this market's a little bit more difficult. You got to find the right deal. And so I am just waiting for my better deal out there. But in the meantime, I think I cracked a code on how I can make a lot of money and not have to go through the house flipping until I find my first one. So this is how it all went down, homies. If you guys remember, if you've been watching me, I actually went and interviewed one of Hard Money Joe's best friends. He has a wholesaling company, a cold calling company. A lot of you are actually using him, which is really cool. You guys can go to vancom.io, vancom.io, and this is his company. There he is right there. His name is Josue. And you can request a consultation. You can contact them. Now, the cool thing is if you say, hey, Jackson sent me, or ground up house flipping, he's gonna give you a discount on his services. It's actually crazy cheap how affordable this is. Now, some of you already do your own cold calling, then you don't need this. But if you're someone like me, like I'm terrified of the phones. I'm gonna go through what Money Mike actually says on the phones for, how he talks to clients. And then I also built an entire cold calling cheat sheet on ChatGPT for you guys too. So if you're looking to, a lot of questions, hey, how do I get the money to start flipping? This is probably the best way. And it also gets you in the industry and gets you a ton of connections. But we're going to talk a lot about this vancom.io. So I went and interviewed him, and now I have an entire team cold calling for me. So you get hooked up onto WhatsApp, and they actually just set up a conversation for you. And this is insane, guys. Look at how these leads come in. You get every ounce of information. So these leads come in, I'm looking here in Kingwood, and this one actually it's not a deal, it's already sold, but it's a great explanation of how the lead comes in. So you get the property address, you get phone numbers. Now, the one thing I don't want to do is have a bunch of people calling these leads. So you can see that I've blurred out the actual address and the name and the number, but this is how it comes in. They actually give you a zestimate so that you kind of roughly know what the property price is, the beds, the bath. The house size, man, this is like just what I'm looking for in my area. 0.26 acre lot, that's amazing. It's vacant right now. And then they find out if there's any mortgage or liens. And yes, there's a mortgage, no liens. And then they have 4 pillars. So if you guys are really trying to prospect deals, and this is for you house flippers too. If you're trying to find the best deal on a house flip, this is what you need to be looking at. So timeline, right? He can close ASAP. In fact, every house flip I've done, I've closed basically in a week, 7 days. So you need to know how long it's going to take them to close. Motivation. We're going to talk a lot about this later. This is probably the most important part. Price is not right out of the gate. Okay, you got to earn trust, but you get that trust by learning motivation. So it was an investment property for him. He said it's time to sell now. And then the condition. Owner mentioned that it's in good shape, probably needs some minor repairs. No one's been living there for a long time. Roof is going to be replaced soon. So that's pretty interesting. Is he going to pay for that? Might be a way that you can negotiate the price down considerably. You know, a new roof on a bigger home like this might be 12 grand, 15 grand. So you might be able to get 20,000 off, you know, extra if they don't have to do it themselves. HVAC's new, floor and tile. Price, NA, he mentioned that the market is pretty good right now. So again, price, we're going to talk about that a lot. But here's the other thing. Some of these leads do come in as listed. So those are some that actually, I actually see it in my market a lot. And these are things that you can kind of target when you look at like Zillow. Some of these properties are listed now for 60, 80, 90, 100, 150, 200, 300 days. And those might be ones where people are getting a little bit more desperate. But that's how the leads come in. So this was the lead that came in, and here's what's crazy. As you can see, it's Spring Branch, Texas. Now, this happened by accident. This whole entire deal shouldn't have even happened. This is not an area that I wanted my callers calling. I was talking about a different area near Houston, and the cold callers took it differently. So they ended up calling a different city. It's over near San Antonio. So I was getting these leads, and I'm like, what the heck? So from here, I'm going to go through this lead here in just a second, but I also want to go through some of these conversations. So what happened was, if you guys remember, some of you OGs out there, I got one of my first Baytown deals, Holman. That's the one that I flipped. I got red tag. And Money Mike, I met him because he's from Kansas City, but he put the deal into a Facebook post, and I saw it, and I contacted him, and I ended up buying 2 properties from Money Mike, and he gets crazy juicy prices. And knowing what I know now, I wish I would have just wholesaled him off of, you know, with Mike and got more out of him, because he doesn't know this market as well. So I started just sending them to Money Mike. Now you might be like, why are you doing that if you're getting the leads? I'm not going to call these people. I'm terrible at it. I, you know, freeze up on the phones. And so if you're somebody who's good on the phones, this is a home run. You can be calling these and get all this money. I'm splitting basically a $20,000 wholesale fee 3 ways, but I'm telling you right now, when you hear my process in this, it's going to be the best $6,800 I've ever made, really. So Money Mike, I'm going to run through what he says on the phones, because he's just amazing on them, and he always gets the best deals. And then I'm going to give you that cheat sheet here in a little bit, but I wanted to give you the backstory. Hey Mike, I'm getting these leads. Can you just call them, and if we close them, we can, you know, split the wholesale fee. And then if you find the one that I want, you know, I'll buy it and flip it. So this is how it went down. You know, I reached out to him, and I sent him the lead. He's like, sweet, you want me to call him? And I was like, well, I just realized they're both in San Antonio, but I guess if we get them for a super good price, I'm sure Joe could help us wholesale it. And that's hard money, Joe, right? And he's like, yeah, I've actually got some buyers there too. I was like, but I got a cold calling team sending me leads. When I get them, I'll just have you call them. If it's a flip I want, I'll pay the wholesale fee. If I don't want it, we can wholesale it and split that. He's like, you know, and I'm like, is that cool? He's like, sweet, let's do it. So he calls these ones, right? And all of a sudden, like 1 day later, right here, he starts getting pictures of this one. So this is the house that we just wholesaled, and it's actually pretty cool. Those trees are gorgeous, by the way. And so the property owner sent Money Mike all these pictures of this house. And so Money Mike's working him, getting all the pictures, and he doesn't really get priced yet, but he kind of understands where the guy's at on this. And it's just cool to see his process and to be able to get this. So in this process, what happened was Money Mike gets this deal, and then we were talking with Hard Money Joe, and Joe goes, hey, I got a guy right out in that area. He loves to wholesale. He's got a lot of buyers. Let me contact him. So he hooked us up with a guy named David, right? And so in the meantime, Money Mike's just working this deal, talking with them, and he says, hey, I'm going to make an offer tomorrow. And I think that's key. I think everybody comes in right away and bombards these people with the price, how much money you want. And that's kind of opposite of what Money Mike does and this cold calling sheet that I'll just give you the prompt that I said, and I actually made it into a downloadable PDF, so I'll link it if I can remember in the description for you guys. But basically the core theory is trust first and price second. So the key to winning a big and a distressed property cold calling is to become the person they trust, not the person they sell to. You don't want the price right away. You want conversation. You want to be the one they call back when they hit a breaking point. So people sell when they are ready emotionally. Your job is to speed up that emotional readiness by being human, helpful, and real. So that's really what Money Mike did here, is he just earns the trust. Now, one thing, I've talked now to that cold calling team, and I interviewed him, and I've talked to a lot of the top, house flippers, and not top, sorry, I don't want to say it, but big investors and big house flippers around my area. I am super curious about this topic. It's something that I want to do, forever. It's very lucrative. There's a lot to do in the real estate world, and I don't think that you guys sitting out there don't know that already. So I am just curious, and I'm like, well, all I do is when I get around these people, I ask them questions, and they talk and talk and talk, and that's what I learn is what they do to clients when they're talking with them. All they do is just say a couple words and get the people to start talking to them. And every single, person that I've talked to who does this at a high clip says the same thing. You need to shut up and let them talk. So there are words, phrases, things that you can say to get them talking more. So Money Mike said, hey, he's not even going to put an offer. He just gains that trust, right? And I was like, perfect. I want those trees in my yard. He's like, yeah, no kidding. So we're trying to get with David. David was out of town. But Hard Money Joe was talking with him and said, no, not yet. He said, here's David, by the way. He just texted us on our phones. That's him going out to close that lead. But that's funny. Hey, I like to just do this kind of stuff raw and live. I think it's a different perspective than what you get online where everything is just flashy and perfect. And I make $8 million. No, we don't. But this is pretty cool. So let's get back to these. Really, what Hard Money Joe said after talking to David, because David was out of town, if you can get in that 50 to 60K, he has a lot of buyers and it'll sell basically instantly. And that's the price that we need to get it at, right? And so then Mike comes back the next day and says, all right, he's at 55,000 the last time I spoke with him, but then he mentioned he'd be very happy with 20 to 25,000 over what he owes, which he owes 28K. So after gaining his trust, he now knows that this guy owes 28,000 and wants 20 to 25. So with that, now we kind of know, all right, 48,000 to what is that? About 53 is where he wants to be. So that's kind of the number that Michael already has in his head. So, Joe's like, honestly, we can send it to our database. 55 should work. And Money Mike says, I should be able to get him down to 50K. I do not know how he does this. I mean, it's just amazing. But, then we started working at title companies. So what that means is next up, we need to present him with an offer, try and get it as close to 50,000 as possible. And if he accepts that, then we need to get it to title, right? So it's a signed contract. Now, these are things that you can do with a real estate agent. We are going to have this on our new website. So I've been mentioning this a lot. You guys, I'm telling you right now, even though I'm taking a step back on flipping a little bit, we're going all in on building the #1 resource. It's taken us almost 6 to 8 months to build this out. So what we're going to be able to do is have, your comps on there. So you can just put in any address and it's going to give you comps so you know what price you need to be. And then when it comes to like title companies and then contracts and all that kind of stuff, we'll have a resource for you there. So once you get a signed contract from this guy or gal or whoever, you need to open up title. These are all also pretty simple things that you can leverage. Anybody in your market, hey, I've got somebody who, I'm going to buy this distressed property, this deal from. I need to open up title. Who are the best? You'll probably get 8 million title officers and stuff. But anyways, that's where we were at, is like, hey, let's get this thing in, and let's tell them we can close in 30 days, but tell them we can close sooner. So you want to give yourself some time, especially if you don't have a buyer right away. And that's what I see all over the Facebook groups, right? Is all these wholesalers have these deals and they put like a 30-day close on there, and then they go out and find buyers for that. So we ended up finding, Gladiator title, right? So, and I'm like, hey, what's the wholesale fee on this, And what that wholesale fee basically is where we purchase the price or get it into contract. And we don't even purchase it. We just get it into contract, and then where we sell it to an investor, the difference of that, right? So as we keep going down, he offered him $50,000, but he's going to talk to his wife. Then the next day, he called Mike back and said, hey, I'm at 55. So you're going to hear later, even Money Mike was like, I think I can still get him down a little bit. His tactics are just amazing. So we got the pictures. And then Joe says David thinks he can move it for about $70,000 because he dug more into the comps, and it ARVs around 150 to 160 max. So we can kind of go through deals of how much, if you get something into contract, what price you should really be looking at. In fact, if we kind of do that right now, if I bring up the calculator, this is kind of what I've seen in my market. This is going to be different from everywhere else, but really, in fact, we can go right here. I think I had it up. This is kind of where we're at right now. Resale value, as you saw in the text, 155 to 160. I'm just putting this here right now. Rehab budget, because it had new AC. It's a really small home. And then in some of the clips, let's see. I have some videos here of the inside. This is crazy. Here's a video of David when he actually went.
You see, I put this here because of the flooding. Well, I don't want to go out in the mud. Yeah.
So that's David there at the property with the seller, and I think he's pretty happy.
I put this here because of the flooding. Well, I don't want to go out in the mud.
Don't want to go out in the mud. The cool part is that we found the motivation. We know why he wants to sell and how much he wants. So he's probably getting excited right now. And I'm here to tell you guys, I mean, some people obviously list their property and want just crazy, outrageous prices, and some people are more like, they just want the convenience of not a lot of people coming through, listing the house, and they just want to get out and get their money. So that's, the situation that we're in here. And so we know that we're going to purchase it around 50, but the way that we're presenting this deal, if you put it, $40,000 budget renovation, because this is a way cheaper house, it may be a little bit higher. This would be the purchase price of the investor, not us. Let's see, 70% loan to value, I think it still hits. ARV of 160. If you were gonna buy this deal from me, you'd only be $7,149 out of pocket with $1,100 a month interest payment. And you can see there, I mean, if you're 70 and 40, that's $110,000 plus your closing costs of $7,100. So you're really at about $117,000, and then your resale value is that. But the investors that we're selling to, and I'll show you here in a little bit, he had 3 of them fighting for this property. So obviously it was a good one, and we got it at such a good price that at $70,000 they're fighting over it. It's really a home run deal. So again, I know like in my area, I would be basically buying anything right now if it was resale value more at like 450. I'm going a little bit bigger. This is kind of the area I'm in for. Let's say it's a $450,000 resale value. I have zero problem buying that house right now at $250,000. So there's not really like a percentage that you're getting at. You just need to know these markets. But again, here's the thing. If you can go to this sparklending.com/cash calculator, we're going to have a whole new website where we're going to have 4 different calculators on there, from rehab budgets to cash to close, DSCR loans. We're going to have budget costs. One more calculator, I'll think of it. You're going to be able to put all this in, plus get your own CMA. You'll know what the property's worth, and then you can present this to a list of buyers or Facebook marketplaces and sell these properties, right? It's really cool. And so with this right here, you can start putting in numbers. That way you know that the cash out of pocket, is very minimal, and you're going to get a lot of investors that way. So that's kind of the way that we did this. But also Mike's just, hey, I'm going to try and get bottomed out. I need to know what their motivation is. So Money Mike comes back one day later and said, got it locked up at 52.5. So remember he said 55K was his bottom dollar? Well, he got it at 50.5. So David was on vacation, came back, and I think he came back on a Tuesday, and we were all talking, you know, like Monday, Tuesday-ish or whatever, and he goes, I'm going to go out there Thursday and take some videos and give them to my buyers. And so literally went out there Thursday, and on Friday officially locked up. And I was like, nice, how much, you know, and when's it closing? So last I knew, his buyer was at 67,000, and Michael and David were talking. Again, guys, I don't know if you're seeing this. I'm out of this whole thing. Money Mike called it. Money Mike's dealing with the seller. Money Mike's negotiating. Money Mike's talking with David. David's jacked up because he just got this deal thrown in his lap, and he's going to get part of this deal. And so now Money Mike says, hey, I'm going to try and get him to 50,000. So another 2,500 off, and boom, sold for 70,000. So from there, we're kind of working on closing dates and everything. But this is how it went down. This is what David told us right here. I actually took 3 investors out there. They were all interested. I got an offer for 67 and another one for 65. The ones that ended up buying it, they wanted to push me down on price, but I stuck to my guns. F that. So honestly, if you have other leads, let's pursue them too. So now I've got, you know, him with this buyer pool bidding, and he got that one. Instead of going down on price, he said, F that, I'm sticking to my guns. He got 70,000 out of it. So Money Mike negotiated it back down to 50,000. And remember, he wanted about 20,000 over, which would have been about 48. So he's getting about 22,000 over what he owes on this. And then we wholesaled it for $70,000. And right there, we got our non-refundable down payment that went to title. So this baby is in, executing, and we are getting after it. So from there, we were really just talking about, okay, we got a good little system here, and I'm going to get my cold callers to hit these areas. And what I also figured out was, well, shoot, hey, what are some other zip codes around this or cities? Because I can just tell my cold calling team. Again, if you guys are cold calling and doing this, no problem. But if you want your own team, just go to vancom.io, contact them, and just have a conversation personally with host Sway. I texted him, I'm like, hey, close my first one. I even told the team I closed my first one. They were celebrating with me. And now I've got them working some of these other zip codes where we know we have good buyers. And we're just going to continue to wholesale those. Now, they're still calling my areas, the areas that I actually want. But in the meantime, why not chip off some of these? I mean, this is a great way to earn some additional revenue. And man, there's no better way to get into this whole process. Again, I kind of take a different approach than most people because this is my first wholesale deal too. You can see kind of my text in there. I'm like, I really didn't know what was going on or how to do this stuff. It is so intriguing to me, like the lucrative side of home, like house investing, house flipping, wholesaling. And so now I'm kind of getting a different, view of this, of not just always being the end buyer, but as you can see there, imagine if that was in my area, I would be getting a property at $50,000, right? Like that's incredible. Now I'm going to tell you right now, the wholesalers that, are around here, they would probably list that property on Facebook Marketplace at like $89,900, I would guess, somewhere around that 90,000. They may even go up to like 99, and that's kind of where you're at. So there's $30,000, $40,000 of your deal going to that wholesaler. So, that's just, especially in a tougher market like right now where you're not getting just dozens of offers and multiple offers, you got to get these prices right. And so that's kind of why I've taken a step back too, because why not just wait, instead of having all the stress of, am I only going to make 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, or break even, you're getting that 20, 30, 40K buffer of profit, but more importantly, it's less money out of pocket. So check this out. Let's say I wanted to buy this for myself and a wholesaler got it, and my purchase price, because they had it here, listed at 89,000. And you might be like, well, why didn't you, try to get more out of that? Look, guys, this thing sold in like an hour. I'm cool with it. And the investors are happy. So what are they going to do? They're going to buy more deals from us. And I've actually talked about this a lot on my channel, and I've read like probably 100 comments on my videos of people going, yeah, these wholesalers, man, they take everything out of it. And I'm actually starting to notice on a lot of these Facebook groups that they're posting properties and they're lasting a long time. So they're really pricing them too high. And you wouldn't believe it, but that big Kingwood property that I went and looked at, what was it, a month ago maybe? Over a month ago, it's still for sale. They have now dropped that thing 30, 40 grand. It's still 50, 60 grand more than I want to pay for it. But that just goes to show that they're trying to get, like, milk these things, right? To me, this thing, we moved it that quick. We got the deal, but you know, if we go to this cash calculator and the ARV's, you know, 160, and now I took the, you know, $89,000 purchase price out of pocket. Look at that. It went from 7,000 to 24. So not only are your profits, you know, gonna lessen, but now your money out of pocket really grew. And that's, again, something you got to look at. You don't want to be getting into these deals like that. So now what I did is I actually asked ChatGPT this. So if you guys want, go ahead and read this. I don't know if you use AI or ChatGPT much, but you can really prompt it to do anything. And so I said, I want you to act as, I'm going to just highlight it so you guys can see it. I want you to act as one of the best cold callers in the world for buying distressed properties from people. Someone who can gain trust fast, get people talking, and always get the best deals for you and or your clients that you sell properties to. Run me through what you say right when they call or right when you call. Also, do you try to get the price right away or just gain trust? I want you to explain your theory on how to do this best. If you were going to teach a group of people how to do what you do, then also give me a list of the best lines to get people talking more and how to handle objections. If you can make this a PDF, that would be great. So you can do this yourself, but you know, this is what it came up with, and it's really cool, and it even gives some like really good hooks. So when you call, hey, Joe, this is Jackson. I hope I caught you at an okay time. I was reaching out. I came across a property that I believe you might own over on 123 Main Street, and I just wanted to ask a quick question about it. If they ask who you are, what this is about, totally fair. I'm actually not an agent or anything like that. I'm local, and I help people in tough situations find easy options for selling properties if they ever need that. I'm not even sure if this makes sense for you, but I like to have a quick conversation to see if I can help. So what's the goal of the first call? Gain rapport, identify pain or timeline, and establish you as a person, not a predator. So really your calls need to be just exploratory and coming from the side of help. And that's where a lot of these people are. They're in distressed situations. They're trying to get off these things. So your goal should really just be someone there they can talk to. So do you ask for the price right away? No, asking for the price too early puts them on defense. Instead, ask questions that make them want to bring it up. What would an ideal outcome look like for you if you ever did sell? Have you had anyone make offers before? Just curious how that went, right? So those are just questions to get them to talk, right? And they may start, yeah, I've actually had a few offers, or yeah, I've had this. I didn't really like it. Oh, why didn't you like it? There's actually really good books on this, and it's, you know, how to ask questions, I think, is one of them. And that's really what you need to be doing in these conversations. Again, I'm not the expert cold caller. I'm just telling you what I've learned over the time of talking to some of these people that are just incredible on the phone. And every single one of them says the same thing. All I do is ask a question or two. And even if they talk, I'm just going to ask a quick question to get them talking again. The more that they talk, the better things go. And, you know, I know for me personally, if I ever tried this, you know, I did a little bit. It's like I just sit there and ramble and talk and try to talk, and that's not what they want, right? So best lines to get people talking. How long have you owned that place? Did you used to live there, or is it something you rented out? What's the story behind it? What's the plan with the place long term? Sounds like you've been through a lot with it. How are you holding up? That's pretty gangster right there. Again, those are just simple questions that you want. And I talked to Money Mike about this, and he said the same thing. He goes, I don't know, I just connect with them. I don't know if it's my voice or the way that I talk, but I can just get people to open up. So he leverages a lot of questions like these to just get people talking, right? And then he's not offering right away. He's just trying to get all the information and be a resource for them. Golden phrases for trust. If it were me, I'd want someone who actually listened, not just tried to lowball me. No pressure at all, just want to be a resource when you're ready. Even if you don't sell, I'm happy to point you to a good contractor or someone who can help. So with this, guys, again, you can put that prompt in there and it's going to give you objections. And the cool thing about this, I don't think I have to do a Chat GPT course, but you can do these top 5 objections, right? They even have Chat GPT voice or Grok voice. And you could say, hey, I want you to be, I'm going to practice my cold calling. Can we go back forth and can we actually practice together, right? And you can go through with a voice on AI and actually practice cold calling and objections and be like, hey, I want you to give me the best objections. And when I come up with an objection, I want you to counter me, you know, or if I ask you a question, I want you to answer that and learn how I can ask more questions to get more information. So these are things that I think could really help you guys. Now, this isn't cold calling. Here's the important part about this, guys. As you get more and more into house flipping, I've actually learned that I have a lot of conversations with just owners, people, you know, around the community. Now that I'm in it so much, this is the exact same thing that you want to do. And I'm better face to face. When I'm face to face with people, I'm really good at just having conversations because I'm good at asking questions. And so not just on the phones, if you're out and about, you know, or asking friends, family, or anybody, hey, anybody got distressed properties? I actually ask my friends a lot, you know, hey, do you know anybody who has old properties they don't want anymore? You wouldn't believe it. And they want to help you. Like, yeah, I actually know somebody. They were just talking about how they got this house from their parents and they don't even really want it. Cool. You know, set me up with a conversation. And then just gain trust, right? So at the end of the day, this whole entire business is around you having conversations. So that's probably the best thing that you can do. Or, you know, like I did, I kind of created a team where I got Money Mike doing this for me. I am getting the leads. Money Mike is, you know, talking with them, and then we find people to sell them. And in the meantime, now I'm going to try and find my flips, you know, at a way better deal. So I'm still working to get one in my area. You guys just follow along. In fact, here in about a week or two, we're going to be releasing this big release that I've been talking about. And then I'm going to get Hard Money Joe and I to actually start probably doing at least a weekly or bi-weekly series where we're going to break down deals. And again, every time I use the cash calculator, break down deals with Hard Money Joe, you guys love those. So I'm going to continue doing those. And the next time, you know, I finally find my own flip, I'll be documenting it. If you're somebody out there who is wholesaling or cold calling, if you would comment down below, what are some of like your top lines that you use to get people to question? And I want you guys to really put that stuff down in the comments so that all my other viewers can go down there and learn from you guys. And that also, the comment section could be somewhere right now that you guys can go down there and say, hey, I'm looking to JV or partner with somebody. Maybe one of you has a little bit more capital and you can invest in the cold calling. And then there's people in this video down in the comments be like, hey, I'm really good on the phones. I don't have the capital. There's your team, right? You pay for the leads with Vancom, and then you have that guy, gal, whoever, cold calling and closing. And once you get a deal at a good price, I am telling you right now, there are buyers out there. That's one of the most fascinating things about this. If you get good deals, you can sell it. The hardest part is getting the deal. So you got to learn to start front-ending this. My first year, I was just kind of buying from wholesalers and did okay. But my new path going forward is I've got to, you know, procure my own deals and work that way. So again, I will document all of this. I drag the camera with me everywhere. I appreciate all you guys too who've just followed me throughout this whole process. And the comments that I get of how much I've helped you really is the motivation. So comment down below your questions for me, for Hard Money Joe, and please guys comment what are your best lines, everything that you guys use when on the phones, and try to connect down in the comments here. I would love to see you guys partnering up, making 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 grand on some of these deals to get you into the house flipping game. But boy, oh boy, I got my first wholesale deal and I didn't have to do really anything at all, but I did get the lead. That's the most important part. What you doing? And I get more time with my baby dude, my big Ripper McDipper Jetty Bug right here with the Monster Jams. We're gonna go do more of this because it's summertime, you know. Hey, what do you got to tell him?
Subscribe to my dad.
Subscribe to my dad. You heard Jetty Bug, the Ripper McDipper. He said subscribe. So How many likes can we get on this video for the rent? Look at that hair, boy. Yeah, buddy.
26.
26. No, we need like 2,600. Anyways, guys, we'll
2,100.
catch you on the next one.
28,100.
28,100. You heard him.